Welcome back, everyone. We're wrapping up Chapter 2 today with some work with survey problems. This has to do with Venn diagrams and ones with 3 sets. It can be interesting. So take note of what's going on, and you'll find that if you work from the inside out, these things are really easy. Notice that you've got some parts that are in 2 of the sets, but not the 3rd. If you get all of that straight, use your logic, the survey problems are really easy. One more time, start from the inside and work outward. We're going to use the Venn diagrams, and we're going to answer survey results. So here's a starter with 2 of them. How many students are willing to donate blood? So we're starting with, where are we here? We're starting up here. Okay. How many students are willing to donate blood? Well, notice down here, having trouble seeing this. Down here, A represents the students willing to donate blood. So they can't use blood and breakfast for the set names, so we're stuck. But donators are in set A, breakfast people are in set B. Now, how many students are willing to donate blood? Well, we're talking about set A. I'm having a hard time finding this. Set A. So how many people? Well, remember, we have regions here. We've got 4 different regions, and we're talking about the ones that are in set A. Well, there's 2 regions. Sorry about that. 370 and 120 are both in set A. So add those 2 together, and 490 students are willing to donate blood. Next, how many are willing to donate blood but not serve breakfast? So where's my, okay, here we go. All right, willing to donate blood, so they're in A, but not serve breakfast, not B. So 370 and 120 were the 2 sections of A. We have to throw out these because they happen to be in B. What's left? 370 students are willing to donate blood but not serve breakfast. Excuse me. How many weren't willing to do either one? Well, the ones who were willing to do anything are the ones here. They were willing to help, at least donate blood. These were willing to do breakfast, and these were willing to do both. So you take all of those and subtract them, and what do you have? Well, you don't even need to subtract, because what's left are these 290 out here. They're not willing to be in the blood section or the breakfast section. That's all you need to do. Just use your logic, excuse me, so solving survey problems, and draw a Venn diagram. That's the first thing. Draw the Venn diagram. And then use the survey results. That's information in the problem that say how many of this and how many of that. That means cardinality for each region. Start with the intersection of the sets, in other words, the inside, the innermost region, and work out. And then when you've got all those regions written in, there's 120 here, 75 there, and so on. When you've got all those regions filled in, then go back and answer the questions that were given in the problem. Next, we've got an example here. And the first thing I'm going to do is, how many different things do I have? Well, we've got US and Mexican adults, but actually we're going to pick and we're going to talk about the U.S. ones, and the ones that are not in the U.S. are Mexican. We could have done it the opposite way. It doesn't make any difference. The second part is agree or disagree about the primary cause of poverty. So what we'll do is we'll start by drawing a Venn diagram, and we'll make one circle for the U.S. and another circle for agree. Then we'll start trying to fill these things in. The results of the survey show that 1,060 people agreed with the statement. So in this circle right here, the agree circle, it's got 1,060, but that's two regions, 1060 together. It said 400 Americans agreed with the statement. Well, that means that 400 are right there, U.S. and agree. 400 Americans agreed. So you put that 400 in. Now it says 1,060 agreed, so this part right here, the agree circle, has 10,060. Well, 400 are in this region, so how many are left in this region? Subtract, and there's 660 in that region. What else do we have? 2,000 people were surveyed. 2,000? And let's see. I guess we don't need to go there yet. How many Mexicans agreed with the statement? How many Mexicans agreed with the statement? So these are the U.S. ones agreed, and those are the ones that weren't U.S., so this would be 660. Just use your logic. How many Mexicans disagreed with this statement? Well, that would mean the people out here. How many people are out there? Well, the people outside the U.S., we had 2,000 altogether. 2,000 altogether. We've got 400 Americans. Let's see, we want how many Mexicans disagreed with this statement? Disagreed. So we want the ones out here. And what do we have? We want Mexicans, so we've got 1060 altogether. Agreed. So how many disagreed? Subtract 906, 940 disagreed. And how many of those are Mexicans? Well, we had, excuse me, how many Mexicans disagreed? So we've got 940 disagreed. How many Americans disagreed? Let's see. So here's our Venn diagram, a much better looking one than mine. So this is all the people in our universe. Half the people surveyed were Americans. Okay, there's the missing link. So we're going to sneak back here. 1,000 were Americans. So, Americans, we have 400 in here. This total is 1,000. So we'd have 600 in there. That gives us all the regions except what's outside here in this part. Now, how many do we have all told? We've got 1,000 Americans plus the Mexicans that agreed for 660. So we've got 1660 so far. So how many are out here? Well, we've got the 1660 altogether. We have 2,000 in the entire diagram. So subtract 0, 4, 3, and that'd be 340. So out here we've got 340. So we got how many Mexicans agreed with the statement? We've got the 660. How many Mexicans disagreed with the statement? Well, that would be Mexicans that disagreed. So we throw out the US, throw out the agreed ones, and you've got 340. You might have to go through this a couple of times, but once you go through it a few times, get the feel for how things work, working from the inside out, using your logic. It's a big game, really. Think of it as a game. So you draw the sets, you start filling things in. Get all the information you have about the various cardinalities or numbers that are in the different regions. 2,000 people altogether, half are Americans, so that's 1,000. That also means 1,000 Mexicans. The number of people who agreed with the statement, that's given, 1,060. 400 Americans agreed, so you've got that. You can put that in your diagram. So here's your picture. We said 400 Americans agreed, so we've got that region. And the US region has 1,000 people. We've got 400 here, and we need this plus this to be 1,000. So that gives you 600 there. We've got half of them filled in. What's next? In set A, regions 2 and 3. So 400 elements in 2, that's right here. This leaves 660 people over here, and we've only got one left. So there's 3 plus what's out here will be the total of 2,000. Subtract those, and you've got the 340 people out here. What I would really suggest is you go back to the slides by yourself and work this out again. You've seen it done once. Remember, you're working from the inside out, and you're using the information to get different parts of it. We started with this, and because there are 1,000 Americans, we include that part, and then we were told that this was 1,060, so we can subtract those parts to get this. We know 2,000 are all together, so we can subtract this from the 2,000, and there we get our 340. Then, once you've got them all filled in, you get to the questions. Now, this is just the setup. This should be a game if you think of it that way. So, Mexicans who agreed with the statement. I wish we had that picture. You could always slide back here. Use your own slides. Watch this. Go back and forth between the slides and this video. And you can fill these in. Okay, here's another one to try. I think this is the last one. You might want to take this and try to do it yourself. Hit pause, see if you can do this. Notice first of all, right off the bat, you get 60 people all together. So the universe, the number of items in the universe is 60 in your entire diagram. You're going to have a diagram, Venn diagram, and what you've got is comedies, dramas, and science fiction. So a circle for comedies, a circle for This might not be the picture that shows up, but it's similar to this. There's a science fiction, and there's one for the dramas. Notice, first of all, you're going to start from the inside out. That's the people that like comedies and science fiction and drama will be this part in here. Once you've got that, then you can take these parts that represent 2 regions and subtract out the 6. So you've got 13 like comedies and dramas. So comedies and dramas, that's this part right here. But we've already got 6 in there, so that means 7 will be in this section right here. And you keep filling it in like that. This section right here will have so many, you subtract out the 6. This section right here, it's going to be really messy, is 11 people, subtract out the 6. You've got another region, you'll have all 4 of these after A, B, C, and D. You'll have this region filled in, this one was the 6, this one, and this one. Then you'll look at the individual comedies, science fiction, and dramas, and take these 26 like comedies. So you've already got 3 pieces of the comedies. You'll add those up, subtract it from the 26 to see how many people only like the comedies. Then you'll do the same thing for the dramas. You've got the dramas, you've got 3 pieces. This is 21 altogether, so subtract, and you'll get this number. Same thing with the science fiction, you'll get that number. And it says there's 60 people contacted, so once you've got all these regions filled in with how many are in each of those regions, add those up, subtract from 60, and you'll know how many don't like science fiction or comedies or dramas. So this is how they started, the same way we did. Get that Venn diagram set up. And then start filling the things in. Start filling this one in with that part. 13 people like comedies and dramas. So you have 13 and those 2. You've already got 6 here. So this must be 7 to make up the 13. And just keep going like that until you've got everything filled in. The nice thing is the question back here actually leads you through the whole thing if you're paying attention. Because you work with filling in the 6. Those 2 give you another region. These 2 give you another region. And these 2 give you another region. And then do a similar thing with the 26, 21, and 25. And then finally, find out how many are left over after all those sections or regions are filled in. So once you got all those filled in, you can start answering the question. How many of those surveys like comedies, but neither dramas or science fiction? So you go to the comedies. That's set C, and take the part of that that doesn't have drama and doesn't have science fiction. So here's a comedy one. Then you want to get rid of anything that's in the drama and get rid of anything that's in the science fiction. What's left? 9. Just keep doing like that. Use the logic, and I think you should be able to finish all this by yourself. I'm not going to do anything more. There you can see the different sections, 9 people. So if you haven't done this by yourself already, like I just suggested, come back through here See if you can do this before the numbers are shown up. You've seen it once. You've seen how it was done. All you have to do is use your logic and the numbers that you've already filled in. Exactly one movie style. I'll give you this one. One movie style. This is people that only like comedies, only like dramas, only like science fiction. Add those three up, and you got it. These people out here didn't like anything. And there you go. Add those three, you get 22. Well, that's it, folks. We have just finished chapter 2. I hope you didn't have any trouble finding this video because, unfortunately, YouTube doesn't allow me to rearrange these videos. So these 5 videos were at the end of the YouTube playlist. But from now on, all the rest are going to be in order. We're going from here to chapter 6, and chapter 6 will be at the top of the playlist, so everything should be working pretty well for you from that point on. Well, take care, folks, and we'll see you in the classroom, and pretty soon a test, and then chapter 6. There might be a little bit of overlap there, depending on when the test is scheduled, but it's coming up soon. Bring your questions to class. Remember, just one question every class session. Don't be caught off guard. Always have one question about math. Okay? Well, we'll see you soon. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.